Corley Moore. So this has been a long time coming. Corley is one of those guys that just has a real soft spot in my heart, brother.
Thank you.
And this is the first time we met was, what, yesterday, 2 days ago, here?
Yes.
In a bar. I picked you up.
Yes.
I bear hugged you, picked you up.
It also got a little bit of a spin.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys recreating Dirty Dancing or something?
No, I wasn't that far, but I'll tell
Sounds
you,
like
man.
it.
Brother, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
For those tuning in, for those that are watching here live, Corley Moore, the weekly scrap, Firehouse Vigilance.
Yes.
Wow.
Dude,
what a platform.
And you guys know this, I think. I've told you this before, that National Fire Radio is one of the reasons, one of the inspirations for me doing it.
That's insanity.
That's what's really cool. Because I saw Rob in Portland. That's when I first was exposed to you guys. And it was very early on.
Yeah.
That's right, the Firehouse 12.
It's been a short ride. So in a long game here, we're only about 4.5 years in what we do. And we are super blessed, and I'll say we because I'll speak for Rob on this, because we talk about it all the time, about how fortunate and lucky we are to be able to build what we've been able to build.
Absolutely.
But to me, what's so important is the relationships and friendships that we get out of it.
Yes.
The fact that we could have Kurt Isaacson here, we had Ray McCormick in here, Mike Chempel, all the names, the people that are influential in the market. But here's what we share.
Yes.
We get to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? So with Fire, talk to me about the weekly scrap, man. If you're watching and tuning in now and you're not familiar with the weekly scrap, this is Corley's show. It's a live Facebook show, interaction where you take questions from the audience as the interview is going on. Tell me why? What's your passion? Because you are constantly grinding and doing.
I always tell people I am the absolute luckiest person in the fire service, period. Good level?
No, you're good.
And,
just talk up and you're good.
Absolute luckiest person in the fire service because I get to talk to the most passionate people week in, week out, and have a one-on-one conversation, interview with them, and then other people join in. And it's that's what drives me, is I am accidentally the luckiest dude in the fire service who gets to talk to these people.
I don't think it's an accident at all, man.
Yeah, it's hard work.
It's hard work,
Yeah.
It's grind, it's your passion, it's your love. So the weekly scrap interviews guys from all over creation, but they are guys that are tried and true.
Yes.
They have a pedigree of street smarts, fire duty, and they bring something to the table.
Oh man, and from the names everybody recognizes down to, someone will tell me about, you don't know this battalion chief from somewhere, and I'll reach out to them and they'll come on, and their passion and their their body of work speaks for itself, and what blows me away is every one of them's humble,
Yeah.
lack of ego, and they just want to make the job better, and that's, I think, is the whole reason for the way it resonates with the American Fire Service, is the guests' passion and lack of ego.
But it should be said, too, that the weekly scrap is just one thing you do.
Yes.
It's one part of the Firehouse Vigilance, right? I mean, what you bring to the table with your dedication and leadership and management, right? Talk about what we're doing here at FDIC.
Oh man, I got to teach for the first time ever here, man.
So talk about it. What was the class?
The class was down and dirty fireground decision making, and I was blown up. Because it's my first time teaching.
Yeah.
Here. Everybody's fear is you go to teach and there's
crickets.
Your mom and your buddy in the room. But no, it was a good turnout. I was super proud. The crowd was super engaging and enthusiastic, and I was super humbled and blown away by how good it went. So, no, it was awesome. The whole experience has been overwhelming. So.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It is, but that's the thing. And it's sometimes, though, too, it's kind of prohibitive for people to get here as well. This is a big expense. Oh. It's a big commitment to be able to get to FDIC, especially if you're not local.
Right.
And to make that trip out, it's an investment. But I will tell you that the reward is there. This show, what it does, not only just the training aspect in the classroom and the hot training, but also the camaraderie and brotherhood. I mean, there's a watering hole 2 blocks from here that every night I've been in there, and probably 100 people in there, and you have a story to tell with them.
Oh yeah.
How important is that part of the job too?
The camaraderie, networking of the conferences in general, but just the brotherhood, the camaraderie, I think is the secret sauce, so to speak, to the whole of. People ask, why is the fire service so great? And I think that's part of it, is we share this bond where you can be. Who is it that says it? I don't want to quote the wrong person.
That's right. We wouldn't know if you're wrong or not. Go ahead.
No, it's one of his. But he says it's Lasky. It's Chief Lasky.
Right.
He's like, when you're at Disneyland standing in line and you see another firefighter, you're like, hey, yo, bud.
Absolutely.
And you'll have a conversation. Plumbers don't do that. That's,
right.
That's his story, and that's how he tells it. But
right.
man, that's the part. That's the secret sauce that makes it such a bond. And so, no, absolutely. I think this is unbelievable. This everything going on here, but it's that networking and the brotherhood, the personal exchanges and bonding afterwards that really brings it out.
And I think that's one of the things that my biggest takeaway from coming to conferences is that you can come here and talk to big city, firefighters. You can talk to the rural fire department, but you'll find another firefighter that is very similar to you with staffing and deployment. And that's where when we're at the bar and we're having that informal educational conversation, and they say, I'm only got staffing for 4 when I'm on duty, and somebody's like, oh, me too. Yeah. How do you handle this? That's where the sauce is. That's where probably you can't put a price on that value of that conversation.
No, we were actually talking about that exact topic last night at the district, and it was when you go to a conference, you're either going to come back challenged about how you do things, or you're going to come back reinforced that the way you do things is right.
Yeah.
It's one or the other, unless you're just completely disengaged. But that's the beauty of it. Like you said, you can challenge you get outside of your own way because you don't know what you don't know.
100%. Let me ask you this. I've never, you and I have done a couple episodes together. We chatted, we talk on the phone.
Yes.
All this. We're going to be doing a project in June together down in Texas.
Yes.
We're going to be doing a roundtable together where we moderate a roundtable. Looking forward to that. Before you started Firehouse Vigilance in the Weekly Scrap, you were in love with the job, but now you're in a whole different league, a whole nother level, right? So when you think, because I think about that, right? I went
You're in
from
the majors, congratulations.
I went from, if you think about that, right? I went from a guy that loved the job and was struggling to find different answers and loving the conversations with the young and old and trying to figure all that out. And that's what got us to where we are today. But my point is, you went from 0 to 100, right? And the process was pretty quick, right?
Oh, well, absolutely. No.
So what do you think of that today? Like when you walk around here and people are like, hey, Corley, I watch your show. Hey, Corley, I love what you did. Hey, I loved episode.
Oh, man, that's Corley Moore.
I loved episode 3,473, right?
Like imposter syndrome is a very real thing.
Yes.
Very real thing. Because I'm just the guy that talks to bad.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
That's it.
100%.
And so,
but what I love about that, though, too, is that where I wanted to take this conversation is that humble attitude. Some of the biggest movers and shakers in the American fire service that have innovated over the last 30, 40, 50 years are walking in this building.
Right.
They teach classes. They're also sitting at the local watering hole or at the restaurants at night that you can approach them, have that conversation, and it's like talking to a brother at the firehouse.
Yes.
There is no intimidation factor here. And so for people like this young guy, Gage, right here, this guy's a rock star. He was here yesterday when we were interviewing Ray, listened to the whole conversation. Afterwards, we chatted for a few minutes, and his love and passion is just fueling him to want to be here and hear that message. No. And for him to be able to walk this show and talk to different guys that are so influential, holy crap.
Dude, it's
right?
Powerful. You have no idea what the trajectory you've been set on.
Right.
No.
Right.
And this, I guess FDIC has existed, but I just I didn't get outside my own department until the last few years, because of Firehouse Vigilance.
Right.
So for me, it's eye-opening too.
Right.
And so it's a journey for myself as much as, I'm on the same journey.
Yeah. One of the fun things that I love about when Rob and I get done with a podcast, I have Rob that afterwards the guy gets off the call or leaves the studio, and I look at Rob and I go, holy shit. Right?
Yeah.
Who do you have your holy shit moment with when you get off the scrap and you just crush it like Kurt Isaacson, right? He went hard, right? And you had him back, I think, again, right?
Oh, yeah, he came for episode 100.
Right. Yeah. So that amount of passion wrapped up, when you get off that call, who do you go like, holy crap, that was, who's your decompression?
I think it comes to expectations. So certain people have on, I have a really high expectation.
Yeah.
Then I have someone else on. I'm like, man, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm making a mistake here. And then, so those ones, when they come in and they're like, they just crush
knock
it out, man. And those ones, but no, usually it's when I click that. I'm like, hey, I hope the tone stays silent unless it's burning.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there, and I click end, and then I got to sit back and say, okay, we're clear. And then we'll sit there and talk off air. And that for me is the catharsis. And I tell them,
that's awesome.
No, it really is.
So what do we got going on? Where can people find you if they don't know what the Weekly Scrap is? Firehouse Vigilance. Where can they find you? What do you got next?
FirehouseVigilance.com. Jaime Reyes is coming up on Monday, episode 139. Paul Combs is coming up after that.
Awesome.
May is loaded up. I'm loaded up into July and booking beyond. And so I'm really excited about what's coming up. But yeah, FirehouseVigilance.com. You can find everything there from the swag to the podcast to all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, everything.
Listen, brother, Keep up that hustle, pal. I'm so happy for you. I love what you've built. I think that you are making the fire service better every single time you put out a piece of content.
I'm like the diet National Fire Radio.
You're not. You're not at all.
Here's the deal.
I'll tell you.
Jeremy was my best friend that I'd never met, and that's over. So I got to find a new best friend I've never met.
Yeah, well, there's.
I met Rob.
Listen, there's plenty. There's a lot better guys than me out there. I promise you that. But I will tell you, man, keep up that hustle, and whatever we can do for you. Dude, it's just a phone call away, man.
And
I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything. I appreciate it. Ryan Pennington, I want to get Ryan in. Jump see views because I know he's on a hot schedule. Corley, thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.